Why are wheels itchy?
Well, wheels are itchy, very itchy, because the same things that make the wheel also lead to the activation of skin nerves. And if you tickle, if you annoy skin nerves, the result is that a message goes to the brain, and this message is, it's itchy. Now, to be itchy by itself is not a bad thing. It's actually a signal to the brain that something is happening. Something is happening with the skin that requires scratching, the natural response to itching. And so, as a defense mechanism, when we itch, we scratch to remove something that has caused this itch. The problem is that in urticaria patients, this itch happens without something that's there that we can remove by scratching. It's a nonsense itch response that's caused by the activation of mast cells and by the mediators that are released from mast cells and then go to sensory skin nerves.
Can you explain what angioedema are?
Angioedema are swelling reactions. It's a complicated name for a response of the skin that results from a blood vessel response. So the blood vessel transports blood through the skin, and when angioedema occurs, these blood vessels become wider, so more blood flows through the skin, and that's why many of the angioedema that we see are red. But then a second thing happens, and that is that blood vessels also become leaky. So they don't keep inside what should stay inside, and they let part of the blood, the fluid part of the blood, into the skin. And this edema because of something that's happened to the blood vessels, is the literal translation of the process that's happening in the skin, angioedema. An increase in volume of the skin because of something that happened to the blood vessels.
What is an anaphylactic reaction? Is this the same as angioedema?
Well, anaphylactic reaction is very different from angioedema. Anaphylactic reaction and anaphylactic shock, as the worst case of an anaphylactic reaction, describes a hypersensitivity reaction, an allergic reaction. And in anaphylactic shock, this is the worst case of an allergic reaction. It involves more than one system, organ, so it's not just the skin that's reacting, it's maybe the gastrointestinal tract and the airways that respond, and finally, in the worst case, also the brain and the cardiovascular system, so a complete shutdown because of this systemic allergic reaction, and this can result in death.
What's the difference between hives and wheels?
There is no real difference between hives and wheels. They are used synonymously in many cases. Some people, when they say hives, mean the disease, mean urticaria as the disease, but it essentially describes the typical pattern of the skin, whealing and formation of angioedema as a response of the skin in urticaria patients.